Hello, everybody. Hello, welcome to Coach's Corner. Yes, we are here, and you're here as well. You know, this is part 4 of a very, very powerful chapter of You Were Born Rich. And if you missed the other 3 parts, you're missing out. Make sure you go back and watch those replays on your respective platforms. We're on many platforms today. And always feel free to engage with us, put any type of comments. We always like to hear from you. But most importantly, we like to apply this material to your life and the results that you want. So my name is Jamel Matias. I'm a certified mindset success coach. And my purpose is to reveal the hidden potential within you and guide you to your truest desires. And I'm in Maryland. And before I forget, happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
Yeah.
You know, happy Father's Day, Paul. And happy Father's Day, Dad. I know you tune in from time to time. I love you. And, you know, this is going to be a very powerful call and final one on this particular chapter. There was so much in this chapter, but we'll get in a second. And I'm going to pass it to my amazing colleague, Paul.
Oh, thank you, Jamel, and happy Father's Day to you as well.
Thank you.
My name is Paul Wooters, and I'm a success mindset coach. I'm an author, a speaker, consider myself an adventure traveler. But at one time, I thought I was doing all the right things. I was thinking positively and setting goals, but the results weren't matching. And so now I devoted myself, my life to you, to helping you achieve your most elusive personal and professional goals and help you to create the life that you truly want and deserve. And I'll pass this on now to Lou Perica.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. And to all the dads out there, happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to my awesome colleagues here. So my name is Lou Perica, and I am a certified success mindset coach. And my business is Prosperous Results. And I work and help strong, capable women reconnect with who they are through transformational mind shifts so they can build a life that is peaceful, purposeful, and prosperous. And just a reminder that abundance is contained in thought. Alicia.
Hello, everybody. Happy Father's Day. Even in Sweden, it's not that. So, my name is Alicia Espinosa. I am in Sweden, and I am also certified mindset and values coach. And I help people to create a life that feels good on the inside and not just looks good from the outside. And it means that you can create a life that is in alignment with your values and stop chasing the happiness from the outside world and find it from the inside. That's me.
It's me.
This is awesome. This is so good. Wow. Let's do a recap. Quick recap. We talked about how in this chapter, you know, it's called Me and Money. I think I said it backwards. Yeah, I did. That's funny. But that's based on your perception as well. So money is important. We talk about the importance of money. We talked about money is a servant, not the other way around, right? We talked about money must circulate. We went in great detail about that as well. One of my favorites, we talked about having a prosperity consciousness, and we talked about the exercise that you can implement, basically seeing yourself spending that type of income or having that type of income. And also being comfortable with money. We talked about fearing not fearing, if you would ever get that, or worrying about once you get it, will you keep it? Basically, we talked about fear of money, different aspects of that. And then we talked about understanding versus memorization, I believe. Let's see. Yep. So we talked about that. And we were getting into, and I want to thank my colleagues here personally for allowing me to continue with some things I thought were really, really powerful in this chapter. Because like Lou mentioned before, it's meant to be digested, right? And learning, repetition is the key to learning. So you want to digest this slowly and enjoy the process, because you're able to grow the most and get the most outcome. You can read a book 1 time, 2 times, 1,000 times, because that repetition is basically going to bring out more awareness of you and basically elevate you to a higher version. So we talked about energy, right? I see the floating in an ocean. So where we left off, wow, there is so much. Yeah, there's so much here. I think there is real power within you. What page is that? Now, Paul, you remember? It looks like you're muted there, Paul.
Yep.
There you go.
Go.
Let's see.
Real power within, page 18.
Okay, that's where I thought. Okay, awesome. Because I mentioned, and this will be a good start here, right above that. We kind of closed with, there are 3 things to understand: how we have been conditioned with money, right? How our mindsets, how we've been raised with our beliefs about money. We shared about that. And number 2, why we are getting the results we're getting, right? And that's connected to how we've been conditioned. And number 3, how we can change our way of thinking or our conditioning. So this is a huge part here, how you can make that shift today on how to shift your thinking about money. So there's real power within you. We'll start right there. Anybody want to just off the top of your head express the power we have within?
I'll give it a little go there, Jamel. I think that this particular section is emphasizing that the source of all power and wealth lies within you, not on the outside. And so Bob is introducing here the idea that you are a spiritual being with infinite potential, and that every person is born rich because we have the access to the same creative faculties, which is our imagination, will, reason, and intuition. We all have that. And so our inner world, which is our thoughts and feelings, that's going to determine our outside world. So when we tap into that power, what we have to do is we have to remember that it's really important, it's imperative that we have the faith and discipline, because we have to direct our thoughts and energy toward the things that we want. We have to see it in our mind first before we can have it, before it will be in our physical world. And most people, they never access their true power, because they're looking for the outside for answers rather than from within themselves. So that's my little summary.
And I'll just piggyback off of that. So as I mentioned in the beginning, that abundance is contained in thought. Everything comes from thought. So you were born rich. What that really means is that God gave us the ability to build any idea that we desire. When you think about the squirrels, the birds, the animals, the trees, none of them have the ability to shift their vibration. They are what they are. And when you start to really have an understanding of this material and an understanding of what you are, not just who you are, meaning labels and roles, but what you truly are, you will really connect with spirit, understanding that this consciousness flows to and through us. So one of the first laws is the perpetual transmutation of energy. So we have this creative thought power, this, as they say in Science of Getting Rich, this thinking stuff that flows to and through us and is surrounding us. And we have the ability to take that power and create any idea that we desire. This is the creative process. This is how things are manifested. But everything must begin with an idea. So it's very important to think, feel, and act rich. Now, you get to call what rich is to you. But when you go through your day, think about what it would feel like being rich, whatever you deem to be rich. What does that feel like? What does that look like? And then as you go through your day, think about and notice the rich moments that you're having. Like right now, we're having this wonderful dialect with myself and my colleagues sharing this value. And this is a rich moment. This feels wonderful. When I run the beach, that is a rich moment. When my husband and I go out for a wonderful dinner, that is a rich moment. So when you start to add up your rich moments, you will really see that you were born rich. You have the ability to create the life that you truly desire. Alicia.
Yeah, I think about, I was noting what my thought was, and it's like this inner power that we have, because below the level of the consciousness is the subconscious, the greatest of the subconscious mind, and the inner power is not intellectual or physical, is emotional and energetic, and it's there we have this the true identity of who we are, and also all potential that we have, and also if we don't use that and to create what we want, to believe in the things that we are aiming for, then we will stay in this, the consciousness will not be so high, and we will not get how rich we are. So it's like, as you say, and you need to, as you saw, Lou, that we all need to define what is rich for you. For some people think that it's only money, but we have richness because it's abundance everywhere, and to go to this inner power to decide that, so that maybe we don't chase anything that is outside us, but more to stay true to ourselves and to our potential, I think.
Yeah, this is so good. I can barely sit still in my chair because I get so excited to talk about this. We are unlimited beings. We have unlimited potential, and our spiritual DNA is perfect. We are more than we can comprehend. And what happens is our limiting beliefs, our paradigm, our self-image, we let the outside world dictate what we can do with that essence of who we are. We are spiritual beings. we have an intellect, and we live in a physical body. So the spirit wants to express itself through experience through us. This is why we've been on Coach's Corner consistently for many months, because we're seeking expression. We want to help you with this material, and so you can express yourself towards your goals. So speaking of expression, right here it says any idea, plan, or purpose may be planted in the subconscious mind by repetition of thought empowered by faith and expectancy. So here's our stick person, right? A lot of you seen this before, but what it is, you want to know what that goal is, that dream. You want to put it here in your subconscious mind, right? What is that idea? And even says it's necessary that you feel comfortable when talking about money. This whole chapter is about money, right? We talked about the importance of money, right? Everybody wants it, wants more of it, but they're afraid to talk about it, right? Why is that? You're uncomfortable talking about money because of your limiting beliefs, your conditioning. So becoming comfortable with it, you're actually raising your vibration. You're becoming a higher version of yourself. Prosperity consciousness knows no lack and no limitation. I had to underline that because when you think about it, there's so much limitation when we think about prosperity. And a good thing to ask is, why do I think that? Why do I believe that I can't earn that amount? Why do I think I have to be here? So all that is just conditioning. Maybe in your country or in your city or your state, and you see everybody else here, but you desire going here, you're allowing certain things to dictate your own belief about yourself and your full potential. So I get excited. That's why I couldn't sit still in my chair, because I'm like, hey, I'm unlimited. I want to move around. I want to express that, physically and vocally as well, because don't let that be you to stay stagnant and be limited based on your outside. Your inside, this is where dreams are built, in your conscious mind. It always starts there. And he's talking about, what is that dream for you? What is that monetary goal, that dream that you want to start getting comfortable with, right? If you've been earning, I don't know, maybe 6 figures every year for the last 5 years, and you want 7 figures for the first time in your life in 1 year, or you want to change your annual income to your monthly, and you've never done that before, it may feel uncomfortable for you. Why is that? Because it's a C-type goal. C-type goal is basically, it makes you excited, but also afraid. But most importantly, it'll drive you to that higher version of yourself. And you're able to consciously see it and build that dream and get emotionally involved with it, with your subconscious. So this chapter is so powerful. And then they go into mental money. Mental money, they're talking about visualization. So I'm going to kind of pass it on to somebody else, because I didn't want to segue too far into that if somebody wanted to add to that, what I just shared. Or we can keep going to the next section.
But mental money, I think that it's good to sit down and think, what is my money blueprint? To think about that, and not just, oh, maybe I have this, but to sit down and write that. What is the money blueprint I have just now, and what is the money blueprint I want to have in the future? I think that is because then you will be aware of what is the programming that is running behind, that maybe don't let you get where you want to be. And sometimes it's painful to sit there and write that. It is. But when you do that, I normally say to my clients, you write that, and you are not going to talk to anybody about that if you don't want. But what you need to do is to be honest with yourself. I believe that we can have everything that we want is on the other side of a fence that we set. independent of his money or love, good relationships, we have a fence that we set, and we need to go through that. But you need to be honest to yourself, and what is something that you are avoiding about money, or something that you don't want to be aware of. You need to be honest.
Yeah. And this is why repetition is so vital, because as long as I have been studying this material, as long as you guys have been studying this material, there are waves. I have waves of moments that still come into my mind of doubt or of anything, right? They still could, because my outer world, I'm surrounded by an outer world that is constantly bombarding us with, you're not doing it right, you don't have enough, you need this, you need that. So this is why it's so vital to truly understand what you are. Not your roles, not your titles, but the spiritual side of you, the spiritual essence that is within you. And this is the part where I know I do, and I believe my colleagues, we lean into that, because the outer world is very loud. And what do we hear? Be still and know that I am God. I had a situation, I may have shared this, but it was an eye opener. And my computer kind of got hacked. I think I shared this with Paul, and while it was happening, I had this little voice that said, "Oh, this doesn't feel right." But I ignored that voice because it was just a whisper, just a hint, just a whisper. And then that whisper got louder. And then it became a shove. And then it had to hit me like with a sledgehammer, where I just said, "No," and I shut everything down. But that was such a learning lesson for me, because now when I hear that very soft whisper, I am much more inclined and mindful to listen to it. It could be, take this left. It could be something so simple as that, as take this left. So the point is that we have within us a voice, that intuition that is guiding us and speaking to us. But if we're so consumed and distracted by the outside noise, because it's very loud, we will not hear it. So sometimes, like my case, it was a whisper, it was a shout, it was a shove, and then it was the sledgehammer. But that was my learning. That was my lesson that I had to learn. So now I'm definitely more aware and mindful when I get the first whisper. I just wanted to share that.
I want to say something about that, because sometimes we don't hear that because we are so busy running so fast. So, the 150 kilometers per hour, and sometimes we need to slow down to speed up.
Yeah, I think we do hear it. It's just we ignore it, because
we know.
definitely, it speaks to you right away, but we just ignore it. It's
but because you're so busy to running that you don't take the time to slow down.
Absolutely.
To speed up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I love that. It's a great example, Lou. Sorry, Jamel. But it's just, and what we learned through this and our program is the importance of that, that conscious awareness, that self-awareness. So you have these voices and things entering into your head all the time, and you have to understand that we need to control our thoughts and not let our thoughts control us. By listening to our intuition and those things that come to be, and there's little things, so we have to pay attention and really pay attention to those things, as Lou said. And then going back to what Jamel said earlier about this, emotional relationship we have with money. People are repelling money because, we feel guilty about wanting it, or if wanting money, that's associated with greed. And so we create these mental blocks. It's not the external circumstances that's preventing us. It's what we perceive, that relationship with money. It's greedy, or it's not right to want that much. So in this section, it's good. It says mental money. It's talking about visualizing yourself first with the money, and handle it in your mind. I mean, learn to handle it in your mind first with ease, and with be comfortable with that idea, because as we've said earlier, money is an obedient servant. And so it's going to follow the direction that you give it with your thinking, So the real, a good takeaway is that we have to learn to be comfortable with the idea of wealth, and to mentally circulate that in our mind freely. And in order to attract it, we have to change our attitudes about it, because it's going to respond to the vibration that we're in.
Mm.
Jamel.
Yeah, so well shared there, Paul. When you want more money, you're creating exactly what you desire. Like, you're creating more want, basically. So you're actually announcing to the universe, to God, to source, to spirit, that you don't have it. So if you create that in your mind, the outside will be a reflection of the inside. So it's a perpetual cycle of you wanting something you don't have. So, this is a different way of thinking. And this is why mental money and what Paul is sharing here in this section is so important, because it takes you out of your current circumstance. It takes you out of where you are in your life, and you're tapping into spirit, actually, but you're utilizing your imagination. So let me share my screen and just kind of really, really give you exactly what we're talking about here. If I can find it, let me cancel that and bring this back up, because this is so important for you to see. And apply this today. Apply this every day. Every day you get a chance, because it takes you to a higher level, right? So Paul was mentioning, right? And I wanted to share this here. The wealth you are seeking is and always has been seeking you in return. So open wide the doors of your conscious mind now and begin to receive it. So you need to open your conscious mind, right? So this is what Paul was talking about. Get into the habit of visualizing yourself in the possession of great wealth. Think of some of the things you would do with that money, and then mentally start doing them. That is huge, because now you're seeing yourself at a different level. And even, some of our consultants and colleagues, we're all human, have a paradigm of money. So if you can see yourself doing it, now you're seeing through your eyes. You're seeing yourself at a higher state. You're seeing how that feeling would be doing whatever it is you want to purchase, the vacation, or something, maybe some debt you wanted to pay off, or a trip you wanted to make, or some type of experience. And here, always talk about how good it feels to be wealthy. Congratulate yourself. I say that in the mirror. Congratulate yourself on becoming wealthy, and hear others congratulating you as well. That is so powerful. You should realize that although this might appear to be a game you're playing, you are doing one of the wisest things you can possibly do. You are working from a higher to a lower potential. So I can go in great depth there, but basically you are at a higher vibration when you start, creating like this in your mind and playing this game. And we talked about the subconscious. Remember, the subconscious mind can only accept. It doesn't know what's make-believe or what's real. So when you look at the stick person here, this is your subconscious. This is connected to universal intelligence. They even the ancient Greeks call it the heart of hearts. So you're connected to spirit, to the source, to God, to energy, whatever you believe in, and you're utilizing your imagination, which is one of your mental faculties. So hearing other people congratulate, especially people, you know, family members, people that really love you and support you, right? And colleagues, right? Imagine, congratulations on making your 6 figures in 3 months. That's amazing. You know, congratulations on whatever, right? It's different when you hear somebody else say it outside of you, even though it's not physically here yet. You start feeling good, right? Imagine playing that over and over every day. You'll be in a great vibrational state, which is the primary law. Everything vibrates, right? So this is a great way of really talking about mental money. You're creating money in the metaphysical, and then they get into something really special there. There's much more to yourself than meets the eye. There's more to us than what you see on this camera, what you hear in this voice. There's tremendous spirit going on, especially when you have 4 coaches giving you all they have consistently for several months, right? So this is, what is this? This is it's a, what do you call it? It's a combined consciousness. It's a mastermind.
Collective consciousness.
Collective.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. So you get the idea of the importance of tapping into this, because he said this is the most important thing you can do. Why stick on the lower plane and keep looking at your current results when you desire more? I think Lou wants to share something there.
Yeah, no, I was thinking, thank you for sharing that, Jamel. When you think about the book Think and Grow Rich, that was written, I don't know, 80, 90, 100 years ago. Think and Grow Rich, where Napoleon Hill interviewed 500 of the most wealthiest people that were introduced to him by Andrew Carnegie. So there's no lack of money. There's only a lack of ideas. Now think about that. So when we, think and grow rich, but it's more than think and grow rich. It's think, feel, and act rich. Meaning you must go there first in your mind. And when you go there in your mind and think about, what does it feel like to be rich? What would I do? How different would my life be? You will feel your vibration shift. And then this is what typically happens. The paradigm, the limiting belief comes and it takes that dream and says, who are you kidding? That's not who you are. Have you seen your bank account? Have you seen the old jalopy that you're driving? How do you like that word, huh? Jalopy. Do you know that the rent is due? And so right away we go back. Now just think, when you think about being rich, being wealthy, living the life you feel so good. And then that so-called reality, when your paradigm pulls you back because your subconscious is obedient. It's created for you to survive from your habits, from your fixed ideas, from your programming, through your past experiences, and it pulls you back. And this is why many people will stay stuck, will stay where they are, because they'll go there and they'll say, who am I kidding? Look, at the rent is due, right? My car's broken down. So this is what we're trying to share with you, is you must first go there in your mind. You must tap into your imagination. It's such a miraculous tool. And really, money is a tool, but we give it such power. But if you thought of money as like a shovel or a hammer, you understand that a shovel or a hammer is just a tool. So sometimes question your beliefs about money and then replace it with the word tool, replace it with the word shovel or hammer or saw, and notice how kind of silly it can sound, but it truly is a tool. But it all starts in the mind. But again, and I think maybe I speak for all of us, maybe not, but we all used to have limiting beliefs about money. I know I did. We shared this many times. My mother said, go get the money, go in the backyard, get it off the money tree. So I had these limits, and it took years to shift that and to understand, wait a minute. I am worth that. Why can't I experience X, Y, and Z? But I had to, and I still do, step away from that limiting belief, and just, I roll the dice. There are times I just roll the dice. And this is what Alicia was saying, it's getting out of my backyard, my fenced in backyard, because I'm very familiar with that backyard. And that fence that we can build is like an electric fence, right? Like if a dog is in a yard, but yet he sees the meat truck passing by, he wants that meat. But as soon as he gets near that fence, zap, and he says, who needs that meat anyways? I'll just dig up that bone that I buried a couple of months ago.
Yeah. I think that that we need to see that in our mind first, and it's not like you are there like, oh, I see money coming to me and then it will come to you. It's more like when you are in those vibration in alignment with what you want for money, and then a lot of ideas will come. How to I call this like taking inspiring action. But if you don't believe that, if you don't have trained your subconscious mind to believe that you can have that, then it was like, oh, it's not idea to do this, or nothing will come new ideas, and instead you will be more frustrated that you stay there. But when you train your subconscious mind that you can get this money, then the ideas will come. And important, as Luz said before, you need to take commitment as committed actions. Like take the actions for this. I have a rule. So when I get an idea, I believe that the universe sent that to me. And if I don't take the action right away, after some hours, my paradigm start to, but it's not a good idea. No, it will not work. And so in order to skip that, I do right away. With common idea, I say, okay, what can I do? And I do that, just to not let my programming kidnap my idea.
Such a good point, Alicia. I love that. I love that term too, that not let my paradigm or my programming kidnap my idea. Because this isn't something, these are things that we have to implement right away, as Jamel said, not tomorrow, not next week or Monday morning, like right now, start doing it. And it's tough, but we have to be persistent. And Jamel mentioned it earlier, it's repetition. Repetition is the first law of learning. So when we look out at the driveway, as Lou said, and you see that old jalopy. Now, there is a term I haven't heard in a long time. Showing our age there. Jamel had never even heard that before.
Yeah, I heard of
it. That's the result of our past thinking. Those are the results of our past thinking. That's what we see now. But from here on in, from right now, starting now, you have to change your thinking. And as Alicia said, don't let your old paradigm, your old programming kidnap your new ideas. If you want a different result, You have to change your thinking. You have to change the way you do things. You can't keep doing the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. So we have to change our thinking, and it's through repetition and making this commitment to ourselves to be persistent in our actions and to take different actions. And we have to, the things that we learned, we have to unlearn and relearn. And so that's going to take some time, but it's just going to take some consistency and doing things over and over. But we have to first seed in our mind. And, you know, I jumped out, there was something in this book, and it's a few pages on, but, you know, someone asked Vincent van Gogh, the great painter, how do you come up with such great paintings? He said, first I dream my painting, then I paint my dream. So just think about it. If you're an artist and you're going to draw something, you see it first in your mind, and then you paint it. So you have to see it in your mind first. It all starts within, and you have to change your thinking and be persistent. And as Alicia said, don't let your old programming kidnap your ideas. So I love that little phrase there.
Mm.
Yeah, that's so good. The kidnapping your old. Yeah, I love that phrase and how that's worded. Yeah, I wanted to shout out everybody that's here live as well. Thank you for joining us. You know, it's so awesome to see you here, and this will really help you. And for all those that watch the replays as well, yeah, Sandy, love that. Yeah, awesome. Thanks for being here. So let's share my screen, and this will really, really help you kind of understand who you really are. You know, it's so well written, and it kind of woke all of us up. I'm pretty sure what is really going on here. And this will help kind of give you more insight on this whole thing about visualization and mental money. So you will never see the greatest part of your being because it is non-physical in nature. In fact, you will soon become aware that you are constantly living simultaneously on 3 distinct planes of being. You are spiritual, you have an intellect, and you live in a physical body. So I did mention that earlier, but it breaks it down. The spiritual plane of thoughts is your highest potential. So this is why it's important to visualize, you know, in that state at a high level. The intellectual plane of ideas, that's middle potential, and the physical plane of results, that's the lowest potential. So it goes down here, ideas, right? Such as the idea of financial success never form by themselves. The human personality must always enter into the process.
That's great.
Right? So by thinking the thoughts, which can then be used to build the idea, that is the very thing that makes the human being godlike, or could say a creative creature. Right? So we're all creative beings here to create. And remember what Bob shares, all the animals in the environment, they're totally comfortable in their environment. We are, we're not even in an environment, like we're in an environment, but basically we're meant to create our own environment, right? We're totally out of our environment because we're here to create it, right? Every animal in the animal kingdom, they look very comfortable in their environment. Feathers, scales, you know, speed, predators, herbivores, etc. Right? So if you look at it, thoughts, they're on the spiritual plane because you can't see them, but they're there. Thoughts are energy. The idea is in your intellectual, that's your thinking mind, and the thing is physical, right? So he says, what I meant by this is that you're working from thoughts, starts with thoughts, then you build an idea, and that idea, you know, there's a thing happening going on there. I don't get too deep into universal law, but then the physical, right? Rather than working from the physical to the thoughts and then the idea. And as you have probably done in the past, and as the vast majority of people will continue to do in the future, I really wanted to mention that because it's very important to understand who you are and how it's connected to the results in your life. And anybody can apply that, right? Anybody can apply that. And it's great to know this knowledge, right? We know it pretty well, but it's different than just hearing it and getting excited about it. It's the application and accountability that help you hit higher levels. So very important to apply this rather than just, but I wanted you to hear it and digest it. And you can watch this replay over and over and it'll really start to sink in. And we did mention repetition, right? So anybody want to share anything with what was shared?
Yeah, I was talking to a neighbor yesterday, and we were discussing how when the majority of people, and I was heavily included in that at one point, how my current results at that time dictated how I would think. So that's what you were just sharing, going from, instead of going from the top down, I was going from the bottom up, right? So I was looking at the results. And when I say results, we're talking about whether it's your business, your income, your health, your relationships, whatever categories that are important to you. And when you think about the results that you're getting, we talk about like a life wheel, like almost like a pizza, right? With all these different slices, and each slice has a different category. And if you were to give each slice a number from 1 to 10, what would you give each slice of that pizza or that pie? And when you look at the result that you gave yourself, the number, you will see how it corresponds with your thoughts and beliefs about that particular thing. It's really quite fascinating. And until you break that cycle of looking at a result which is causing you to think the same thoughts and get the same results because it's cause and effect, you must break that cycle and think, feel, and start to behave from the idea that you desire, from the result you desire. But it takes a committed decision and conviction. I think conviction's very important. A knowing, I may not know how I'm going to do this or how it's going to happen, but I am making a committed decision. And I feel the conviction in my words to do it. Again, I don't know how long it will take. I don't know all the steps, but I know I will be shown, because everything always works out, because none of us would be here if things didn't work out. But you don't, and just like Steve Jobs says, you can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking back. So you trust the process, trust the creative process. It's the same process over and over and over. And this is why having an understanding of this process builds your faith, because it's the same process. But we must release the false identity that we've been given, so to speak, and that we've been living by, and create the identity, actually reveal our truth. We're really revealing who we really are, what we were meant to be. Start taking action, just step by step. Paul always mentions this on the calls, one step at a time, step by step, but go with conviction and faith, knowing this is what I desire. This is what I truly, who I am and what I want to experience. And you will see the magic start to happen for sure. Because it's by law. It's not because Lou said so. It's by law.
Mm-hmm.
Lou, when you shared that,
Yeah.
It was 11:11.
Oh my God.
I was thinking to connect with the thought, idea, things process with what we talk about, the repetition and the thought, the what we tell to ourselves, because we have the thought, idea, things, and the missing link is that our beliefs. And if we have a belief that is not in alignment with what we want, the subconscious mind will filter what beliefs you will focus, or the thought that you will focus on, based on the beliefs that you have. And this is why it's so important, because then if you have good beliefs about money and that you are worthy that, or normally it's because we think that we are not worthy of earning money. And so if you believe that you are worthy, having this abundance and all this that we were talking about, then the thought that the subconscious mind will focus it are just about abundance. But if you don't work with that, then you will focus on lack.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's what I wanted to connect that what we talked about before.
Yeah, that is such an important piece, and Lou touched on it, and Jamel introduced it. You know, going from a higher to a lower plane, and most people look at the results, and then that dictates their thinking, and there's that cycle of getting the same results. And there's a comment by my friend David Dickinson, who said, you know, a single seed planted in the soil will always produce more of the same. And so, you know, we have to decide what seeds you want to plant. And as Alicia said, it starts with the belief. You have to have that belief. And Lou mentioned it too. You have to have the discipline. So faith and discipline, you have to have hand in hand. You have to have the belief in what you are deciding what you truly want, and not based on the results that you've seen, but introduce a new thought, and through repetition, plant and nurture that new seed, that new thought, that new idea, so that you can work from the higher plane to the lower. You're a spiritual being, as Jamel said. We are spiritual beings, and so you have the ability. We all are rich because we have those higher faculties that the rest of the animal kingdom doesn't have. We are creative beings. We can create our own environment. We're not, as Jamel said, and the animals, they are just, you know, comfortable in their environment. When we stick out, because we are able to create our environment, and we have an imagination, and we have the will, so we can introduce. We are creative beings. We are God's highest form of creation because we are creative beings. So we have to use those higher faculties and our creative faculties to produce a thing that we want, and not based on what you see on the outside, but, you know, visualize something in your mind first, believe it, and then with discipline, act on it.
Good.
Wow, this is so good. Yeah. So, you know, to add to that, you know, you must begin to understand that the present state of your bank account, your sales, your health, your social life, your position at work, etc., is nothing more than the physical manifestation of your previous thinking. So thoughts become things. So whatever it is that you have now is based on your previous thinking. This is why thinking is one of the most important things you can do and understand. So if you sincerely wish to change or improve your results in your physical world, you must change your thoughts, and you must change them immediately. This is very important. So, and it goes on to here to say, you know, it's natural law. This is natural law of your being. And this is why I get so excited, but I have to slow myself down so that way it really, really sticks, right? It is the way God or source energy or infinite intelligence, whatever you believe in, works with and through you, through the individual. God or spirit or energy has given you the ability to build any idea which you desire. That's the ability you have. And this is how you are born rich. So you were born rich, and your abundance is contained in thought. That's where your abundance lies. So be good to yourself, choose magnificent ideas, and create permitting your physical world, and cease permitting your physical world to control your thinking. Never let the outside world control you. You control it through your thoughts. So, and then Paul mentioned the Vincent van Gogh, right? You want to dream that painting. What is that painting for you in your life? You know, and Lincoln said to believe in the things you can see and touch is no belief at all. But to believe in the unseen is a triumph and a blessing. And that's where I got believe in the unseen. I forgot Lincoln said that, you know? So you want to believe in something you can't see continuously because it's there in the spirit. And nothing's never created or destroyed. It's just in a different form and a different vibrational frequency. So it even says here, keep repeating to yourself, I am prosperous. I am wealthy. Money is good. See yourself in your mind's eye doing what you will do when you have the manifestation of your new attitude or consciousness. Visualize this great wealth and feel yourself already in possession of it. Remember, though, money is the servant. It serves you. So you are the master, and you love people. Love people.
Yeah.
And use the money to have greater good in the world or whatever it is that, you know, can impact people on a positive level. So I wanted to share a few of those things that I starred and circled and put major, and, you know, it was very powerful to understand. And we're doing great for time. Anybody want to share something with that?
I wanted to say that something that is very good to help is to be grateful, because I believe that grace comes from to being grateful in what you have, and to see abundance everywhere. It's not just, you know, sometimes we get like, oh my gosh, I cannot see anything more than my problems at the moment, but we have so much to be grateful for. I love walking in the mornings, and today I was walking. It was so nice, and I love. There is a place where the sun is coming, and, you know, I sat there for 20 minutes just being so grateful about the abundance, the hearing the birth, you know, the nature, the wind, the everything. It was so nice to sit there and just feeling that gratitude for everything, because life is life, and, you know, but sometimes we tend to check more for the negative instead of the positive that life has to serve for us. Yeah.
Mhm. That was beautiful, Alicia. And we also have to, we get to create the space. This is why study is so important. If we don't make a committed decision to create the space that is necessary to allow these new ideas, these new which may seem new to you, these new concepts and ideas, to remove, I always think of like a bunch of millions of boxes in my mind. I must remove some of them and create new space. And this is why study is so important, because all day long, but I make the conscious decision not to listen to it. All day long, we are being bombarded with noise. We are being bombarded with lack and scarcity and negativity. I choose to not listen, not to be ignorant, because I know whatever I really need to hear will get to me some way, shape, or form. But I need to create space for the good. So I visually, in my mind, I take away some of these boxes and replace them with the boxes of the good that I desire. It takes effort to do this. It takes a conscious decision and conscious effort. I was doing some breathing exercise, and that, you know how every meditation, take a deep breath, let it out slowly, and you do this several times. When you think about it, you are consciously breathing, doing that breathing exercise, right? And once they stop telling you and you go off to somewhere else, what happens then? Unconsciously, you are breathing. So think about that. If you are not consciously making the decision throughout the day to study, to look for the good, to shift the way you think, then unconsciously, the old programming is running the show. I thought that was a great analogy when I was consciously breathing. And then what happens when he told me to stop doing that and led me down some meditation? Well, unconsciously, my breathing kicked in because my subconscious mind is programmed for survival and purpose, and it's looking for familiarity and looking to attract the things that have been programmed in there. So I was like, wow. Yeah, I consciously made the decision to take a deep breath, let it out slowly. But after I stopped doing that, then subconsciously my breathing just kicked in.
Well, what Alicia and Lou just shared were just like powerful, important, just fantastic. I don't even have the words. They're so important. And I'll start off with what Alicia said, underscoring the importance of gratitude, and just start listing the things that you are very grateful for, because as Lou said, we're bombarded with all this. It's mostly negativity, trying to grab your attention with all this negative stuff. But if you just take a few moments in the morning, and as Alicia suggested, go for a walk or just at your home and start looking at the things and thinking about the things and contemplating and writing down the things that you're grateful for. The more you do that, the more you will see, the more things you will see that you are grateful for, and you will see that there is tremendous abundance. There isn't really lack. It's just a lack of thinking on our parts. So that's so important. And I love the example that Lou shared as well. And as we're getting near the end here of today, I'll just say that the sections that we talked about in this chapter, there's one central idea, and that wealth begins within. And until we change our internal beliefs and our consciousness around abundance, around power and money, our external world won't change. You have everything that you need to succeed. You just have to recognize that, believe it, and act from that awareness.
Wow. I guess we can close this chapter, right, everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm grateful for each and every one of you, and I'm grateful to be able to express this material. I'm grateful that it's Father's Day. Again, shout out to all the fathers and happy Father's Day. And, for all the fathers that are impressing the subconscious mind in a positive way and, raising their children and changing the world, actually. and we started this chapter 4 weeks ago. Wow. And with this poem, and I figured it'd be a great poem to read and close out this chapter. It's called One and Only You.
Mm.
So every single blade of grass and every flake of snow is just a wee bit different. There's no two alike, From something small like grains of sand to each gigantic star, all were made with this in mind, to be just what they are. How foolish then to imitate, how useless to pretend, since each of us comes from a mind whose ideas never end. There only be just one of me to show what I can do. And you should likewise feel very proud. There's only one of you. So that is where it all starts, with you, a wonderful, unlimited human being. So tap into that unlimited potential. And that's by James T. Moore. And contact us today. Don't let this just motivate you or inspire you. That's great. That's the beginning. But take action and apply this material. And our call links are in the description of whatever platform that you're on. And just reach out to any of us that you connect with. It's great to know about this. It's even better to experience it and create what you want. So again, happy Father's Day. This has been an awesome call. We're going on to chapter 2 next Sunday. And, this is from the book You Were Born Rich. And of course, reach out to any of us, you want a copy of this as well, or whatever. But, and most importantly is to have a dialogue, right? Nothing changes until you change.
Yeah. And thank you to our viewers. I think Sandy just put in a comment that she starts every morning with gratitude and starting her days. And David, thank you so much. And happy Father's Day for those who celebrated here in the States. Thank you. It's been another fabulous call.
Yes.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.